for those of you who are joining us right now, we're really pumped, actually, to have this man on. He's someone that I had the privilege of calling a couple of his matches recently for WVCW, and he's been all around, and he actually just got back from Japan, and it's a man that's definitely had lots of accolades across the indies, and that would be the crown jewel Chase Owens, who we're very excited to have. And Matt, are you back with Chase yet?
We are here. Chase, you with us?
I'm here, man.
Awesome.
Hey, Chase. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. You're actually the first guest that we've had since we've re-debuted. We took a couple months off, so pretty excited to have you on, man. And I know that you just recently returned from a trip to Japan to wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we wanted to definitely talk to you about that some, and then we'll get into your starts in the business as well. But just to begin with, I'll ask you, what was the trip to Japan like?
This was my third one, and we were there a little bit longer than usual. So I got to go look around, and it was just a great time. Both at the shows and hanging out with people like Rob Conway, and just venturing out and looking around Tokyo and Osaka. And, just great time all around.
I gotta say, I'm jealous of that, man. I mean, not only that, it's always been my dream just to go to Japan, period, just to go and check out the country. So I'm jealous of that. Plus, I'm jealous of something else, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about. We've never got the chance to actually ask someone. I saw that you got to go to Ribera Steakhouse, right?
Oh, yes. It's amazing.
Tell us about that experience of getting the infamous jacket, right?
Oh, I did. You walk in, there's all these pictures of, all these legends and all these Americans that have been over there, and just the legends of Japan, and, all these guys that have been in there, and that get the jacket. It's just an incredible feeling to be able to look around there, and, and to be treated the way that, you get treated in there.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I would probably have not took the jacket off. I'd just be sleeping in it. I'd wear it everywhere. I'd be like telling people, "Hey, look, I got a Rivera jacket."
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be wearing it to a few shows and pissing a few people off.
There you go. That's the best way to do it, man. Best way to do it.
There's haters out there.
Oh, in every walk of life, I'm sure, especially someone with a talent like yourself. The people below you are always going to hate. So you on this trip, you actually got to face Jushin Thunder Liger. What was it like being in the ring with him this time? I know this is a return match for you with him. What's it like being in a match with a man with that kind of legendary name?
It's always a great feeling to step in the ring with somebody like that. I've done it a lot of times with guys over here. Like Ricky Morton and Jerry Lynn, and Davey Richards, people like that. Davey not so much legend yet, but he's a guy that me coming up in the business, I've watched over the last 5 or 6 years, and
oh yeah,
he's one of the best in the world.
Oh, you'll get no arguments here, man. I'm a huge Davey Richards fan.
So to face the legend, Jushin Thunder Liger over in Japan, a lot of people might not know just how big he is over here, but to face him over there, where he's, the Hulk Hogan over there, is just great honor. I've been over there 4 times or 4 matches, and 3 of them have had Liger in the match.
Yeah, that's crazy to me, man. Like I can't even fathom that. Like, it would just be such a mind-blowing experience. How do you keep yourself, I guess, grounded in a moment like that when you're in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Like, how do you not let it just? I guess, how do you keep your nerves steady and stay on your game?
It definitely gets to you, especially the first time I went out, and even the, like the first time I went out, even though it was against Bushi, who's a a hell of a competitor. Like, that was nerve-wracking enough. But then the second time, going to the ring, and as you're going, there stands Jushin Thunder Liger. I mean,
right.
Just all kinds of emotions running through me. You just have to, step back and take some deep breaths, and be able to concentrate and try to do, what you planned.
Wow, I'm sure it's just a crazy intense thing. What about, now this is something I've always wondered, and I wanted to ask you, for an American going to Japan, what is how is the communication? Like, is it the language barrier? What is that like, and how hard is that to deal with within the professional wrestling sense?
Around town and, in the locker room, I mean, most know enough English that you can get by, through with whatever, whether it's, trying to get around on the train stations or, whatever, but I mean, order some food, most, not all, especially in the littler towns, like in Sendai just the other night, like, it was pretty rough to try to get some food. It was more us pointing to the menu, and
right.
They wanted, but the most that know enough English that you can get by.
Well, that's good.
It was definitely. I was definitely expecting it to be harder to communicate than what it was. Like, that was one of my biggest fears, going over there. It was like, how am I going to communicate? But once I was over there, it was pretty simple.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, speaking of back over here, I think we definitely need to get into your beginnings in the business and where you're at now as far as your position in the NWA and other various promotions. How did you get started in the business? For those that may not know.
When I was 16, me and a buddy that I was a high school wrestler with went to a local show which was called All Pro Wrestling at the time, and because we wanted to find ourselves a ring and do backyard like I'm sure most people do, whether they want to admit it or not. But so we were asking around, and there was a guy by the name of Mikey Duggar who told us not to do that he would train us. And, so a couple weeks later, we were there training, which my buddy, he didn't last but a month or so. But, so here I was going every week, every Friday and Saturday to these shows and training and, and probably nine months into a year in, I was at a show and Ricky Morton was there who, lives in the same town as I do. So, he saw me and he pulled me to the side and, said that I had a lot of potential and asked if I wanted to start going on the road with him, and at that time, it was a holy crap moment, and, of course.
Right. Yeah, I mean, getting a legend like Ricky Morton to take that kind of interest in you, that's a definite good sign, as far as what the potential you have. And I got to say, you definitely live up to it. I mean, the first time I got to see you live was actually, last month for WVCW when I got to call some of your stuff. And it's just, the talent level is amazing to me. And it was really cool to get the chance to finally see you, man. So, I would imagine that, just getting that Ricky Morton seal of approval, that's got to feel great.
Definitely does, and then just going with, and like a month in riding with Ricky, we do this show up in Mill Creek, West Virginia, where it was for Greg Valentine, and he just got his Hall of Fame ring, like a month or two before that. So like the show was all about him. It was supposed to be him and Manny Fernandez in the main event, and I was doing opening match 3-way with a guy named Charlie Dreamer and I can't think of the other guy, but about an hour before the show, I hear Ricky tell the promoter, "Well, put Chase in the ring with him. He'll be your best heel." And I was like, "What?" And what happened was Manny had called and canceled. So Ricky had the promoter put me in the main event against Greg Valentine.
Oh, wow.
And boy, is everything that people say about how rough he was so true. And, here I was probably just getting ready to turn 18, maybe just turned 18, somewhere in that range.
Right. He didn't take it easy on you, huh?
Oh, not.
Matt, Jimmy, you guys got any questions for Chase?
Jimmy?
I was wondering, you talking about going to Japan, just because, and this sounds like a Tony Wright question almost. Did you go to the sushi, and what was the best sushi you had?
The second time I was over there, we were taking out the sushi, and I didn't particularly like it. We were having some squid and some octopus and a live shrimp.
Live shrimp?
Yeah.
But how was that?
It was all right, except for feeling it wiggle down you.
I'm a big sushi fan, but I don't know that I could do the live shrimp. That might be pushing it for me.
I'll ask another question, Jeff, more of a wrestling-related question.
Okay.
As far as other guys on the indies, who is your favorite guy to work with that maybe not everybody's heard of?
I'd probably have to say Jason Kincaid. You all know him. He's the dude's just incredible. To be honest, he's probably the best guy I've ever stepped in the ring with that's never had, a contract of some sort, I really wish he could have something that would really break him out, so that people, more people than already do would get to know Jason. I know he's doing that the Super 8 tournament up in March. That's a big deal. So hopefully a lot of people, see him in that. And me and him have had a lot of hard matches, but you respect a guy like that.
You guys had a lot of hard hugs too after that last WVCW show.
No, I won't hug him. Maybe I should have, because he about broke my friggin' neck.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How's the neck holding up, man?
It's still aggravating me a little bit. Not like it was. The 14-hour plane ride over to Japan didn't help any, and I couldn't get any sleep on the plane. But I think it'd be all right if I could take a little bit of time off. But if I take time off, I don't get the bills paid. So. Right.
Yeah, that was a scary moment for me. When I'm sure it was for you, but when I saw that, I was like, oh God. Like I was the guy that ran and got to the ice, by the way. So. I didn't know what I just wanted to do whatever I could to help. I was like, oh my God. At first, I didn't know. I was like, is this legit? And then when I realized, I was like, it was a scary moment. So I was glad you was okay.
Yeah, it was definitely scary.
But you're talking about Jason, and it's funny you say this because Matt and myself, I can remember distinctly having this conversation because I think you guys both have such a good chemistry in the ring together. I think that I would love to see you guys get the kind of spotlight somewhere where that you guys could have one of the matches I know you can have, because I feel like it would be one of the things that would set the internet on fire if just the right people saw it, even a pro wrestling gorilla. I know so many people pay attention to that. So, I think that you guys, something like that, both of you guys would be on every wrestling fan's tongue after that. I'm just talking about it because, you guys are just amazing chemistry in the ring together.
Oh, yeah, Jason's one of the guys, along with Sigmund, he's another guy that I really think should have more spotlight than he, does. He's a true ring general, and it's always great to step in the ring with him or Jason. But, you know, you say not mine and Jason's chemistry. You know, we wrestled down in Houston I guess it was last October, not the one that just passed.
Mm-hmm.
But the NWA had some of the New Japan guys there, you know, like Tenzan and Liger and, let's see, who else was there? Gato and Watanabe. But, you know,
wow.
actually, after me and Jason wrestled, we came back through the curtain, and there stood Liger, and he was giving us an applause.
That's the moment right there.
That was, you know, a great moment.
I could have just hung him up right there and be like, okay, that's a career. I'm just standing over from Liger. But,
hey, Jeff.
You speak of, yes.
We did have an email question come in earlier today. If you don't mind, I'll ask.
Oh, absolutely.
We had someone email us, and they wanted to know if you had any advice for other workers out there, wrestlers out there, who are trying to get booked on international tours. What's your advice to maybe help them achieve that goal?
You know, you just got to put yourself in the right position. You know, I mean, there's so many people that are, and I hate to say it, but nobody's that, oh, we can train you, and, you know, then they go get trained, and then you're doing these crappy shows. You know, I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but there's a few guys around here that, you know, that will wrestle at this. In Johnson City, there's like 3 or 4 different promotions.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of them are any good. But these guys will go and wrestle for them just so they can have matches.
Right.
But like, if you're not wrestling with somebody that can teach you, you're not really doing anything, you know, and that's another thing, you know, that's another thing I'm lucky on. You know, right after I turned 18, I started with Tony Givens and Smoky Mountain, which at the time was Championship Wrestling, you know, and to be able to, you know, learn and compete and be around like guys like Wayne Atkins and Tony Givens and, you know, Chris Richards, and Sigmund was there at the time, and I think Sigmund was there at the time. Maybe not. Maybe he came a little later, but, you know, just to be around there and to be, Tony Givens is such a good promoter, you know, and he has the TV, and I think that's where a lot of my stuff came from, and people wanting to book me is because they'd see me on Tony's YouTube channel, you know, on his TV show. But then a few years ago, when I faced Davey Richards one-on-one, you know, and we just tore it up, you know, like I feel like that match was what really launched me, and, you know, and that was like everybody was, hey, come to our show, hey, can you do this?
Yeah, I mean, that was a fantastic match, man. I think anybody that I know that saw that match just, you know, talks about how amazing it was. So, yeah, stuff like that will definitely help as far as that, I would imagine. Hey, yeah, he's talking about the all that. And also another accolade of yours that I wanted to bring up, and this had to be something that helps get a lot of attention for you, too, would be the fact that you were the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion. You held it for a long time, right?
Yes, I did. 3 different occasions.
Yeah. That's an awesome thing to, you know, that's something.
I forgot
that's an achievement.
I forgot the total number exactly. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think when I lost the belt that I was like number 6 all time on days of holding the title.
That's insane, man.
That's awesome.
You know, and that's on the list of guys, you know, like Ultimo Dragon and, you know, Liger and Tiger Mask and, you know, Danny Hodge.
That's awesome. Seriously. So, I guess my next question for you would be, where do you see Chase Owens going? What are you looking to do next in this business?
You know, with these different tours going on, you know, I'd love to be able to land a full-time spot at New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, it's the second biggest company in the world. You know, obviously everybody wants to get to WWE. And I think I want to be there too, but like I know it's not just jump right to it. You know, you have to keep going up the ladder, and and if you can get to Japan, I mean, they were just signing people, Prince Devitt, who's now Finn Balor, and Kenta, who's Hideo Itami, like that, or a Ring of Honor, as they picking up Kevin Steen, you just got to go level by level.
Right. It's an interesting time, I think, too, because it's gotten to the point where I think that it's an actual viable option now. That, I mean, you can actually make it on the independents and become just as well known, just as it's just a different period, I think, for wrestling right now. I think the landscape is changing.
Yeah, I believe so too. I mean, I don't know if you consider the Young Bucks independent, but I doubt there's anybody that doesn't know who the Young Bucks are. And those guys are just incredible to sit back there and watch. Some of their matches that they've had over there in Japan. They're just unbelievable.
Oh yeah, huge Young Bucks fan, man. And I don't know how true it is, but the rumor went around that they actually turned down a deal with WWE because of the fact that they're making enough on the indies in Japan. So I mean, if that's true, that's pretty crazy.
I'll be honest with
that
you,
option.
I don't think they're just making enough on the indies. I think they're making more money doing what they're doing right now than they would be at WWE.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. I think that's very accurate.
Because at WWE, I think NXT contracts around $500 a week or something like that. But I mean, these guys are over in Japan for weeks at a time, and the payoffs there, they pay you weekly, and are super good. Or if not that, they have 2 or 3 indie shows a week at least.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows what they're getting. I mean, but I think they deserve every bit of it. I mean, those guys are incredible.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. I think there's such a cool movement in the indies right now of guys like the Young Bucks, guys like a Chase Owens or a Jason Kincaid. I don't know. I just think it's a really cool time to be a wrestling fan because you've got all these guys that you can watch on the NXT and stuff. But to me, I get more enjoyment most of the time out of watching, I guess, what you consider indies or just non-WWE product at this point. And that's just speaking as a wrestling fan. I don't know. So I mean, it's a cool time to be a wrestling fan, and I'm assuming a cool time to be a wrestler.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think the business is up right now. Pretty much all the shows I go to, are drawing, real good houses.
Well, it's because Chase Owens is on it, right?
Yeah, I'd like to think that, but
Now you gotta say that. That way everybody will pay you more to come.
I did make a joke. Where was I at? I was somewhere right before Japan, and they said the house was up like 70 people, and I was just joking around. But I was like, "You're welcome."
Matt, you got any more questions for Chase?
I'll ask one, diving into maybe your history of wrestling and what you like. But what is not one of your matches, but what's one of your favorite wrestling matches from anything of all time?
That's a good one. Because there's so many good matches. Obviously, I wasn't around when it happened, but I did see it on tape. It's one that I'm sure everybody talks about. Savage and Steamboat at WrestleMania 3.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely a good one. Truthfully, and it's a different style of match, but just this Saturday at New Japan, a guy named Homa and a guy named Ishii, they went like 30 minutes of that strong style wrestling, that Japan's famous for, and and not everybody can get into it because it's just back and forth. I mean, they probably didn't hit a total of 8 moves combined between them. It was just clotheslines and forearms and chops and headbutts, like, just killing each other, this strong style. But I was sitting there on the edge of my seat, like, it was crazy, and for that style, that was probably one of the, better matches that I've seen ever, but, I mean, not everybody's into that, strong style type of wrestling.
It's funny you mention that because we're all part of a wrestling group that we post in quite often, a place to talk about pro wrestling. And I actually just posted a link to that match and was saying I think it's probably my match of the year so far.
Oh, they were killing each other.
It was brutal, man.
I'm a
huge fan of that style. What's that?
I said I'd have rolled out of the ring and walked to the back.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that
anybody,
style.
If anybody can see that match, it's definitely a good one.
Right. Who's the, speaking of that, when we was talking about the strong style and the more brutal stuff, who would you say is who's the, I guess the word I'm looking for is stiffest, or, who's been the most brutal in the ring as far as getting to a match with?
For me?
Yeah.
Greg Valentine, Davey Richards, he kicked me pretty hard.
Yeah.
Let's see, I mean, those two were really ones that definitely stand out. That first match with Davey was was just a battle. Right. Like, I'm sure you couldn't tell it because it was one of these moments where I felt like it was really my time to shine, and like I said, that was the match that really skyrocketed my career.
Yeah.
But we probably went 30 minutes, put 15 in it, and I was dead.
Yeah.
Couldn't breathe, but it was one of these, like, I knew, I kept saying to myself, gotta suck it up, suck it up, suck it up, and just push through it. But,
right.
And I don't remember being that blown up before, but I think it was those freaking kicks and knock the air out of you.
Yeah.
He definitely lays them in.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't saw, actually, we will try to put up a link on the Nerdy 30s Facebook to that match from YouTube because, I mean, it really is one of my favorite matches the past few years. Man, you guys just tore it down, left everything in the ring. And we'll put a link up on that for people that are listening to maybe check that match out.
Yeah, man, that match rules.
Well, Jeff, we're getting down to the end. If you don't mind, let me get in one more Twitter question, and then we'll let him promote anything he wants to promote for a minute. We've got a Twitter question. They wanted to know, it's kind of a two-part question. One, who on the current WWE roster would you like to work with? And two, who all-time would be your dream person to work with?
Somebody on the WWE roster right now, it'd have to, probably have to go with Dolph Ziggler. I mean, I think he's really underrated and, doesn't really get to really be, him, but just his movements and selling and, just everything is, just incredible.
Right.
Yeah. All time, truthfully, probably be, another guy that I've watched, as I was coming through the business. I said I looked up to Davey, and I got to wrestle him, but, now my dream match would definitely have to be with, AJ Styles.
Oh, wow. That's a match I would love to see, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to let it all out right now, but I think that match might be happening pretty close pretty soon.
Oh, wow.
It's not a 100%, so I don't like saying stuff before, but there's talks about it.
That would be awesome.
I certainly hope that happens, and I will certainly be there for that. So, well,
the last 2 minutes, does he want to? Anything you want to plug tonight?
You can just follow me on Twitter and Instagram at NWA Chase Owens. And I got my like page and my regular Facebook page. Just under Chase Owens.
And everybody needs to do that and definitely keep up with where you're going next, because I see nothing but bigger and better things for you in the future. I mean, things are already good, but I think things are going to keep growing. You're one of the more talented guys I've got the chance to witness live in a long time. So we want to thank you so much for coming on.
Help me get out there more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you're welcome to come back on the show anytime, man. We thank you for coming on, and I hope to talk to you again soon, man.
Thank you, guys.
So there you have it, folks. Chase Owens, and that's like we said. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on Instagram. And Jimmy, is there anything we need to cover before we sign off for the night?
Well, just want to plug our sponsor for the night. It's deadmerchandise.com. Basically just a website with all kinds of Walking Dead merchandise and books, different things Walking Dead, but I want to thank them for being the sponsor tonight.
Oh, very cool. Very cool, yeah. And you go over there and pick up all kinds of cool Walking Dead memorabilia. And, yeah.
But try not to pick up the issue involving the governor, or you might stop reading it. Oh, no, not the governor. Negan. That's where you go.
Don't get that issue 100, man. That's a Walking Dead killer for you. That was for me. We've got 4 minutes left, so any other any quick news bites you want to throw out there? Any recommendations for people? That's one. Tell all of our listeners something to either read or watch or play in the next week.
Oh man. Well, Fury is definitely something to watch.
Okay.
Man, I'm just so wasn't ready for that question. It's read nerdy30s.com. We're kind of the front page of the internet. We collect stories from all around the web with links. I know for little liberal hearts like yourself, you probably hate Drudge Report, but we're kind of like a Drudge Report of nerdiness.
I'm all for that.
Different websites everywhere. So definitely check out nerdy30s.com every day. Several times a day.
Yeah. And even if you already checked it, just keep hitting refresh.
Yeah, just like 100 times, just refresh that bad boy.
Yeah. I've heard that if you hit it, there's a certain number that if you hit refresh, that you actually win a prize. But it's a secret number, and it's really high up there, right?
Yeah, and check out what is the Warehouse Clothing Company's Facebook page? That's the place to read and look at. So just Facebook.com? Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Facebook.com/Warehouse Clothing Company. Yes, sir.
All right.
And
all right.
But you have all kinds of different merchandise, and if you want something they don't see, get in contact with Matt Klein, and Matt can maybe make that happen, more than likely.
Absolutely.
And if you just want to talk something very liberal, tweet at Jeff from West Virginia once he gets the Twitter back.
I don't want to talk about nothing liberal. I'd rather just talk to people about comic books and games.
Okay, well, if you want to talk about anything Walking Dead 100 and down, tweet at Jeff from West Virginia.
There you go. Anything past 100, you're going to be talking French to me. I don't know.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, hey, guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us this week. This has been a super fun episode. It was awesome talking to Chase. We want to thank Chase Owens for joining us. And we will be back next week. Same nerd time, same nerd channel. And any last words, Matt?
Have a good week, America.
There you go. So, America, in the words of Nerdy 30s, please keep it nerdy. Good night.